Yay!
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Sup, y'all? I don't know what
So,
that was.
it's okay. So, I'm not on camera tonight because I'm still sick, but I'm sure everyone will be fine. We have a fun, awesome show tonight. We're going to be talking about the fantasy races that we've created, maybe go over some that we like and other stuff, as usual. And we have Nefarious in the chat. We have John in the chat.
Hello.
John posting links like a fan. Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
John.
Thank you, John.
Look at all those links. Holy crap.
Yeah.
He's
Hello,
got all the
everyone.
links.
Oh, you got my store too. Thank you so much.
Citizen is here. Down goes Solo. Buddy's here. Hail, Buddy. Maromi. Ooh, what's that?
Oh, it's my cup. I've been using this more because people like it. My mortal enemies say hello.
Good. John says stop being sick. I will try. I was sick all last week too. Jonathan is here. Welcome, Jonathan. He is a creator. He has his own show. I can give Jonathan a wrench so he can share his links.
Ooh.
Maybe if I remember how StreamYard works.
It's fine.
How are you?
Me?
Oh, he is wrenched. What am I talking about? Share your links, Jonathan. Yes, you.
I'm all right. I'm super duper busy. I've been promoting Fiendish 2. Obviously, that launched like 2 weeks ago, and I've just been doing so much promotion, and the day job's been keeping me busy, and I'm behind on my other work, so now I'm not sleeping tonight. But
Well, I saw that kick-ass Embrace cover.
oh, thank you.
And that looked like it took a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad people like that. I have like 4 more covers to get through though.
Oh my god.
I also need to get pages done. So yeah, I've got a lot of work, and I've got an auction next week for Red Valkyrie. So that's great. I mean, I'm excited. It's just I'm absolutely swamped. But what's new? Welcome to my life. I'm always swamped.
Well, and I'm excited because I got the dark cover version of Fiendish because I want that.
Cool.
I really like the black and white stuff. If every campaign did a black and white version, that's probably what I would always buy.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think the people who really like black and white stuff it's a minority, but they're very insistent on liking black and white. Like they like the black and like the negative covers I've been doing, but a lot of people like black and white interiors, which this one isn't. But I might do an artist edition, like as a separate campaign.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Aardvark is here. He's saying something in maybe Korean.
안녕, 안녕하세요.
What does that mean?
Good night. Or hello. That's not good night. That's just hello.
You're so tired you don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, there we go. He's translating. Cool.
I don't speak Korean.
Yeah, Aardvark is a polyglot.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Wow. So, let's get right into it. How many other races aside from human do you reckon you have created and or used?
Do I reckon
in Fiendish specifically?
All right, let's see. In the story itself, so far, I have my website pulled up, and I actually have a species page on the Fiendish website, so you guys can go take a look at the species that I've made up so far. It's sort of unlimited because it's like a whole planet, and most of the story of Fiendish focuses on Arvos and a little bit of northern Discara. Those are the two continents that you can see on the world map. That's the focus. So most of the races other than human are native to those areas, but I've come up with some species from other parts of the world that people have heard of, or maybe there's like one stray like member of that species over in a different continent. I just want to give myself options, and I just love world building, so I got kind of carried away. But yeah, I
There's a
built.
lot. There's a lot of room in your world for growth.
There is. So I just kind of had fun. Like I didn't, get too crazy because my focus is the main story of Fiendish. But and the different species slash races do play a pretty big role later in the story. Actually, I think in chapter 2 you'll notice that it's a pretty big part of the story already, because this one species called the Dev, the Purple People, which is what Yomi, one of my main characters, is. They're the only Cymar species, and Cymar is the term for sentient mortal beings. So like basically anything intelligent and mortal. So all these humanoid species, most of them are humanoids, some actually aren't. But if they're intelligent and they're mortal, they're not like gods or anything. They're not an animal like a deer or a dog. Then they're called Cymar, and that's also the name of my universe. Um, so anyways, they're the only Cymar who don't have a special magical, supernatural ability. So they're seen as lesser, and they're usually slaves to other species, and that's gonna play a pretty big part in the story going forward. But your question was how many? Let me see. I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I have 9 so far, including humans, but there'll probably be more. But I don't want to. Yeah, those are the core ones I've come up with, and I'm building all these from scratch. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. They're not. I didn't take from like any other fantasy tale or whatever. Some of them are the names are from mythology, like the Ispoliad. I think I've talked about this before. The Ispoliad are a mix between humans and Ispolin, and Ispolin is a term from I think Bulgarian mythology, and they're essentially like this Northern European version of or Slavic version of the Anunnaki, that like higher humans or something. So I was like, that's perfect because I love Anunnaki mythology. I think that stuff is so crazy and cool, and I wanted to use it in my story, but my story is more based on European mythologies. But I was like, it's cool. I'll just use that term, and essentially the Ispolin are like a more advanced race of humans that look different. They're humans because they can interbreed with humans, and that's key in my story because the different species can't interbreed, so you don't get shit like half elves. I hate that when fantasy does that. If you're an interbreed, you're the same species. Doesn't make fucking sense. So, anyways, the Ispolin, they have like green and blue hair. They're really tall and extra magical and shit. So their mixed descendants are called Ispoliad. Um, so yeah, but that name is from mythology, and the Etten, their name is I think it's like some Scandinavian variant of Jotun, which just means giant, right? So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is a rare word that is from Scandinavian mythology, and it's not used that often, but it is actually like if you look deeper into the word, it means giant. So the Etten in my world are this giant furry, hairy mountain species that they live in like clans, and they're like kind of gentle giants. They live in the mountains. And I have the Aluka, which I'm very proud of. They're somewhat they're kind of like my vampire race, but they don't function exactly like vampires. Aluka is a Hebrew word for vampire, and the Aluka are these like weird, shriveled, red-skinned looking creatures. They almost look like a corpse because their skin is like wrinkly and dark red, and
Oh, gross.
but that's just they just naturally look like those. They look really freaky. They have like yellow eyes and sharp teeth, but they're very intelligent and very long lived, and they're usually in professions like healers and midwives and butchers because they like blood. So they used to war with humans a long time ago, but they've since made peace, and their numbers are really small, but they live a long time, and they've integrated into human society. So and their power is not only do they gain nutrition drinking blood, but they can manipulate blood. So, for example, they can like take, a cup of blood and manipulate it into like a shape, like a knife or something that they can use. So, anyways, I've got carried away, but
That's not carried away. When oh, okay. Do all of those species currently exist, or have some died off? It sounds like they're all character type things going on.
Yeah, all the ones I mentioned so far currently exist, except for the Ispolin. The Ispolin themselves vanished thousands of years ago. Nobody knows where they went, but their mixed descendants are still around.
Okay. When you were writing, did you have all of those like created before you started, or has it sort of grown organically?
Oh, it kind of grew. It definitely grew as I was working.
And can you talk about that while I go let my dog out?
Okie dokie. So,
okay, I just don't want him to pee in my house.
no, that would be bad. Okay, it's fine. I got this. I got this.
Okay.
Hey, chat. It's just you and me. So, what was the question? Oh yeah, yeah. Did they exist before? So the dev did exist beforehand, but their actual story and the way they work, because okay, here's a secret I'm gonna let you guys in on. They don't they don't seem like they have supernatural abilities, but there is something about them that is supernatural, but it's hidden and nobody knows about it. So that's going to be revealed later on. But right, that specific ability and how that story evolves has changed. But a huge part of my story has always been around this species conflict in the background. It's not super apparent at first, but it's going to keep on building. You guys are going to see it kind of come to fruition later. The other races have sort of just manifested as I was writing the story. Like, they're not really necessary. I think the Dev and humans and Ispoliad are essential to the story, but the other races are sort of just, I just sort of created more species because I felt like it's a little weird if there's only 3 of them. Like, it is a fantasy world, so I'm, I'm always a little weirded out by how we're in our real world, we're the only Homo sapiens, the only Homo species left. Like, it's like unnatural, right? It almost shouldn't be like that. And I think about how even tens of thousands of years ago there were different sapien and like Homo species around. They're pygmies, they're Neanderthals. So I just think in this fantasy world, I sort of approached it from a point of view, well, these species might have been related like a million years ago, but they evolved separately and with different forces in nature because it's a magical world, so they've diverged a lot since then. So it just made sense to me that you would have different sentient species with different magical abilities, because that's also what a large part of what they're based around. Like, when I try to come up with a new species, I always think about what are they based around. Like the Aluka, they're based around blood. So everything about their evolution, their tendencies, the way the personality tends to be, and their physiology, it's all based around that. I have like a aquatic species they're just called fin folk now. I need to come up with like a more creative name, but they're an aquatic sapient species. And I have Berman.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello. Oh, I'm just rambling about some of the other races now. Ooh,
that's fine.
Your mic's really loud. Is it just me?
Is it? Let me go to my settings.
Oh god.
Oh, it's turned all the way up.
Oh god. Oh, it's really loud.
How's that?
Okay.
Is that better?
Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I don't want to hurt anybody.
It's okay. Citizen Ronan says I've been accused of being a Neanderthal a few times. Well, haven't we all? Yeah, so the Burman, if you go to the species page on my website, the Burman are kind of like Neanderthals, and you actually see them in book 2. Casimir and his gang run into some bandits, and it's like 2 human bandits, and 2 Burmen. So they're really just like more robust humans with like gray skin and like really big brow ridges. So I just wanted a little diversity, so to say. But they also don't seem to have any magical abilities, but nobody enslaves them because they're really tough and hard to tame. So they're like these wild, extra robust a form of humans. And most people think that they are a less evolved form of humans in the world. So, but let's see. I have the Jing, which is from Chinese mythology. It's sort of like a combination of shapeshifters from Chinese and Japanese mythology, and they are a shapeshifting species that exist on Taya, which is my version of Asia. I don't know if they're actually going to show up in the story, but people might reference them. I should just pull up the freaking website so people can see what I'm talking about. Anyways.
Richard is asking, I don't know if you answered this, but in a world of supernatural things, what classifies as supernatural?
In a world, that's a really good question.
That is a good question.
Mm-hmm. I think they
Maybe
don't
nothing.
class it as supernatural. That's a really good question, because I think I describe it as supernatural because to us it would be, but in world nobody describes these like these abilities as supernatural or magical. Like, they don't say magic. Like, when people say magic, it doesn't mean rune casting or like that Luca's bloodbending or anything. When they say magic, they use the term the same way we use when we are describing like, ooh, that like witch magic from like, I don't know, some clan that's uneducated and doesn't understand modern science. Like, in the world, the term magic is also for like hokey pokey stuff. But rune casting is a science. The Aluka's bloodbending is like, it's makes some sort of like scientific sense in the world. Like, they resonate. I came up with like this sort of like hand wavy explanation where their biology resonates with whatever material. The way most species supernatural ability works is their biology resonates with the material that they can interact with. So the Aluka have a resonance with blood. Humans have a biological resonance. Humans and Ispolia have a resonance with different elemental planes, and they can draw energy from those planes to manipulate the world. So, for example, if somebody has if a human or Ispoliad has the strongest resonance with the plane of Earth, because I have like a whole planar map as well. It's like, this is the temporal plane where things are born, they live and they die, and then around them are like the planes of matter. So there's heat, cold, earth, plasma, water, air, and then there's life and death. And life and death are the two planes where life flows through the temporal plane and then back cycle into the like the celestial plane. And that's how reincarnation works in my world. So reincarnation is real in the Simart universe. So anyways, so for example, a human or Ispoliad shaman who has resonance with the earth domain, their astral energy would resonate with earth material. So they would be able to use their astral energy to like draw a rune and essentially create a calculation to like lift a boulder or something. So that's how it works. Like, it's sort of a loose scientific explanation, but I wanted it to feel like it made some sense in the world. So yeah, they don't think of these abilities as supernatural, but it's sort of just a normal thing where every species has their own specialty, and the dev are oppressed because people see them as missing something. It's not that everybody else has something special. The dev are lesser because they don't have. They're almost seen as, well, you're just an animal. You don't have like any ability to manipulate the world around you. You're just an animal that talks. So there you go. Yeah.
That's hardcore. Are there more of those than there are of people who can do the rune casting?
More dev?
Yeah.
They probably well, all humans have a resonance with a plane, but I would say probably like 50% of humans can do some basic level stuff, but really tiny basic level stuff to do what Ragna does. Ragna's my busty, magic girl. She's a very high level, very highly trained shaman, and to do what she does, you need to be trained for your whole life and also be exceptionally talented, basically. So, but the thing is, human and Dispolia shamans are really powerful because I realized that the supernatural ability I gave them is really powerful. Like, not only can it's essentially like, imagine benders in Avatar, except almost every person can bend at least 2 or 3 different elements. So I was like, I have to make it rare. So among humans and Ispoliad, the really well trained ones are rare, but they're ridiculously powerful. So yeah, they can like raise hills, they can throw trees through the air, and they
Oh,
can
wow.
like cause like a whole field to die in an instant. It's really powerful stuff.
Wow.
So it's hard to compete against.
It would be, right. Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't mean for my microphone to be not muted for that. I'm trying to hurry. Is there a lot of hatred or mistrust? I think you kind of answered that. And then there's a lot of stuff you got to read to find out.
Yeah, there's some stuff that you have to read I don't want to spoil. I think well, like I said, the Aluka and humans used to war, but they kind of turned things around completely because it's been hundreds of years and they work together really well now. The Dev, like I said, the Dev are seen as really just they're the males and females are treated differently. The females they're really graceful, pretty beings, so they're kept as pleasure slaves. But the males are treated like manual labor everywhere. They're very sexually dimorphic. I haven't shown any of the males in the comic yet, but I think you'll see some in chapter 2. So, anyways, yeah, they're just sort of they're treated like they're treated like slaves. But there's a dynamic between Ispoliad and humans as well, where even though they're related, a lot of Ispoliad think they're better because I mean technically they kind of are. They're mixed with the Ispolin, which are a higher, like a more supernaturally powerful form of humans. They're like a mysterious race of humans that came and intermixed with normal human beings. So a lot of Ispoliad, like the shamanic and clerical classes, are overrepresented by Ispoliad. So most Ispoliad tend to like they mate with only other Ispoliad to keep their bloodlines, and they're really insular, and because they dominate like the shamanic professions, they kind of just think they're better than normal humans. So I have a thing in my story where one Ispoliad character just like straight up refuses to court or to date a human character, even though they really like each other, but she just can't admit it. I mean, some people might already know who this is, but it's like she can't admit it, and her arrogance is getting in the way of making a meaningful connection there. So, anyways,
Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, kind of exactly like that because I really like that dynamic. So,
did you see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
No, I didn't. Is it good?
It's so good. Like, it's weirdly really good. It's just Pride and Prejudice, and then they added zombies.
All right. Let me check that out.
I thought it was going to be absurd, but I was like, I'm really enjoying this.
This sounds great.
Nice. Sola wants to know if one gender tends to be more powerful.
For humans and Ispoliad, there are more female casters.
Nice. Balancing out that real world issue that feminists think we have.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of it's just like raw physical power though. But I was thinking it's part of I was partly trying to solve the problem of I'm building a world that's pre-industrial, but I didn't want the societal structure to be exactly like the way it was in our real world, which it wasn't always like fucking super oppressive for women. Like that's kind of bullshit. But because a lot of the female characters I wrote had a lot of social mobility, so I was like, what's the reason for that? Well, most of those people would be shamans, and because of that tendency for women to be more female casters, there isn't there isn't sort of a view that women wouldn't be pursuing scholastic careers and stuff. So,
okay,
yeah.
We've got some new people who just came in. JV, Robert, 80s Maid.
Hello.
Guy, I think, just got here maybe. So I had a question and now I forgot what it was. Do you have anything that you haven't made up that's more based on stuff that exists in like our human lore?
What do you mean?
Well, like how I have fairies.
Oh, I think aside from the races I mentioned, like the Jing, the Eton, I have a race called the Corrigans that are kind of borrowed from. They're kind of borrowed from fairies and Nidsea, which is a Scandinavian thing. They're think of like gnomes and hobbits and fairies all mashed together into one. That's essentially what Corrigans are. But besides from that, no, not really. Mm, I'm doing this thing with my animals where I'm using a lot of prehistoric animals. So, for example, people don't ride horses. I don't know if I'm even going to have horses exist in my world. They ride elk and
Oh
deer.
man, are you gonna have those giant freaking sloths? Have you seen
I don't.
bear sloths?
Yeah. Giant sloths. Those were
Those
in North
things are
America.
crazy.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I don't know about the sloths because I feel like I just have one in the background for no reason. Maybe, but I was kind of thinking like European animals. So mammoths do exist. There's a
Okay.
whole area of Argos where it's literally called the Mammoth Lands, and people hunt and ride mammoths and shit. So
Oh,
that's
cool.
that's fun. Yeah. So it's more based on like European megafauna, but I might incorporate some American stuff as well here and there. So that is one real world thing I'm doing. Like, and the dogs, any dogs that you see would be prehistoric forms of them, where they kind of look like thylacines. They have like this weird like snout. They don't look like modern dogs. So I just want to do something different. Not use modern animals.
That's
That's
more
all.
fun to draw than I bet too.
Yeah,
I know you like dinosaurs. It's probably a way that you can almost have dinosaurs.
I really want to incorporate dinosaurs, but I'm like, would that be too much? But
What? Too
okay.
much? What are you talking about?
I want dinosaurs. I think maybe I will.
What about like a really giant crocodile or whatever?
Yeah, maybe later on. There's a point in the story where they need to find a really fast, rare creature. So I was like, should I do unicorns? That's kind of lame. No, I think I'm gonna do a dinosaur.
What? Unicorns aren't lame.
No, they're not. They're not. But it's sort of because I decided I would take as little as possible from normal fantasy, quote unquote normal fantasy. But
Mm.
if I do unicorns, I'm going to make them like these freaky giant dark creatures that look really scary and shit.
Oh, cool. Are the casters ever perceived as abominations by zealots? Are they hunted by religious psychos? Feel free, by the way. If there's anything that you're like, you need to read it, I don't want to spoil something, just say that. Like, it's fine. Don't ever feel bad.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I am fully cognizant of things that I shouldn't spoil. Uh, some casters, yeah, some domains are persecuted. That's all I'll say for now.
Oh, Alex
Ding.
Vrub got a free commission. Congratulations.
Ooh,
Um,
nice.
protect your spoilers. That's right, Sean. We're gatekeeping spoilers. So, um, you said that they don't ride horses.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do you have a drawing of what somebody writes?
Yeah. Well, in chapter one, the caravans they were in were pulled by these deer, but I can pull up like a chapter two page just to treat everybody a little bit. Let me see. Where are these pages? Um, oh,
Some
you can
person says
hardly.
they ride giant sparrows. Do they
Giant
ride giant
sparrow.
sparrows?
No.
Oh,
I thought of having flying giant birds, but then I decided against it. For now. No,
that's
they
a lot.
okay.
That's a lot of drawing of landscapes from far away, from below.
Yeah. I don't super mind that, but it's more of a logistics thing. Like, how would that make travel and battle work if everybody could just get on a giant bird and fly? It would
Oh,
have to be like a really rare thing,
you
like
mean like the
only,
eagles?
yeah, or like only like really skilled riders would be able to ride birds because it's probably kind of fucking hard. So
Probably.
that's my
Probably kind of.
worry. Yeah. Let me just share my website because I have the pages on here.
Okay.
Boop.
Buddy says he tends to just give away spoilers whenever people ask questions.
I'm trying to not do that. I think early on I've given away a lot already. I'm trying to not do that anymore. So this is just some pages from chapter one that are on the website, and this is the caravan that we run into in chapter one. And as you can see, those are elk. They're these elky creatures. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can see they're yeah
I
they're elk.
like how you said elky features.
Yeah, they're elky because there's also like here's the secret. The reason the benefit for not the reason, but the benefit of using creatures that aren't commonly drawn in comics like horses is I can like kind of bullshit it a little bit. It's great. So I mean these obviously look like elk. Can I zoom in a bit? There we go. Yeah, but if you see they have like a little horn on their nose, so I'm just adding like random horns and weird things here and there to make them,
Heck
special.
yeah.
Hmm. There you go.
No, Robert, elky, not elfie,
Okay.
because they're elkish.
Okay. Yep.
Elk-like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just got your text message. Like, just now. That's funny.
Oh my gosh. I sent it forever
I know.
ago.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
phone. Oh, it's not your fault. It's fine.
I have a flip phone and sometimes it, like, doesn't want to get things.
Oh, I see. That's
Yeah.
probably good for your sanity, though.
It's, like, way great for my sanity.
There
um,
you go.
sorry.
Oh, poor Allie.
I know. I'm dying of boogers.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh,
by the way, who does your colors?
a friend of mine.
Oh, okay. Well, they're very nice.
Yeah,
Friend,
they are
they're
nice.
very nice.
Mm-hmm. They're very good.
um, alrighty. Well,
Oh, I can go to my species page real quick. I assume
yeah.
you want to talk about your species too, because it's just been me this whole time.
Well,
But
when I walked away, did you say whether you uh had things mapped out or whether you've just kind of made things as you go along, or was it a little both? Did I miss that?
it was kind of a little both. The Ispoliad, humans, and Dev are kind of core to the story, but the other species I just made up because it seemed kind of unnatural to not have more species.
Okay. Uh, Robert wants to remind us that the prince and Princess Mononoke rides an elk. That is true, and it's a
Mm,
cutie pie,
yes, can you tell I'm a huge fan of Princess Mononoke?
as you should be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot my phone apparently fucks with my microphone.
Oh, there we go. Here are the humans. Obviously, these are the Ispoliad. So, as you can see, they have like weird green and blue hair, and they're supposed to have kind of weird red skin, and they're
Mm-hmm.
darker than most humans. So they're like weird looking humans. Yeah. And these are the Dev. They have their purple skin, and they have this like black sclera in their eyes. The men are really hairy. You don't see the claws here, but they have like giant claws and hair all over. We'll show
Nice.
more of those in chapter two. Yeah.
That'll be cool.
These
Oh, my
are
dog.
doggo. These are the Etten. Those are the hairy mountain people.
Oh, they're cool. They kind of look like Yetis or something.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking they're like Yetis and Sasquatches, but they're
Or
peaceful. Yeah, I feel.
like a white beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. They're like really huge, and I think I'm kind of not sure about what supernatural ability to give them. Right now, I have them. They have like stone powers. They can merge into stone. I might change it, but anyways, the point is they live in the mountains and they're like these gentle giants. I think they're fun.
This is a good question, actually. Some person says with the green hair, do they have a lot of copper in their diet? Did you put a lot of thought into like the colors of all of these races and characters?
Mm, More in a visual design sense because I'm drawing a comic and it's a visual medium, so I want things to look distinctive and read well. And that's also why I think we talked about it last time, where my magic system is more visual. It's more like something that looks showy on a page. That's really, you can tell when something's being done because I draw it. So in that sense, yeah, but I do think of a lot about a lot of weird like scientific shit that nobody is gonna care about. But the copper thing, no, because their hair isn't green because of their diet. That's just how they are. It's like how, like white people have blonde hair sometimes, or Asians all have black hair. That's just how they're born.
I've kind of done a similar thing. Sorry, you can hear my dog.
Okay, doggo.
Let me bring up my. I've been wanting to talk about this race of creatures that I made, and then ask, do you have anything that lives in like a cliffs?
In a cliff?
On or in?
On or in? I have a race that lives underground. Yeah.
It would be hard for a race to live underground in my world because it's so watery.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how there's no like basements in Florida and stuff. It just would be weird. It would have to be like weird like fish people. I don't really feel like doing that. It would feel too Narnia. They're like fish people in Narnia. It would feel like that.
Yeah. Underground wouldn't work for.
So since I can't draw, I used Hero Forge to make like mock-ups of some of my people. Do you have underwater races? I do. But they're not like smart. Not like humanoid smart. And Buddy wants to hear about the weird scientific stuff, which we could totally talk about. But anyway, so I wanted them to live in this like huge grotto, basically, that is just all cliffs up and down it, and it's like impossible to get to. And for a while they just kind of looked like people with like really long limbs, and then I was like, do you know what, I want them to look different. So I wanted them to be able to, when they dance, and it's like windy, these grooves in their skin make noises. So like they have a whole language that is impossible for anyone else to speak because it's utilized when they move like in the wind.
Ooh, interesting.
So you know how like there's some human cultures who have like clicks and stuff. That's sort of how it is for them. It's like untranslatable. And that's why I just kind of put whatever on there, because I was like, it doesn't have to make sense. They're not supposed to be stripes on top, though. It's like grooves directly into their skin, which is really hard.
Yeah.
And so if they ever get like disfigured, that would effectively make them mute from the rest of their people. Which is part of why they, would thrive being further away inside of this giant cliff hole. I was like, it'd be cool though if they were like goat people, kind of like a satyr, but with longer limbs and stronger and tall. Mm-hmm. And that way they can hop up and down the cliffs. And then it would always sound like creepy, in that grotto. If you didn't know what was there, it would always have these eerie whistles, and people would be like, wow, I shouldn't go down there. It sounds scary. Mm-hmm. And then they, in order to communicate in other ways, they have these little mirror bats. Mm-hmm. So then
mirror bats. Look at that butt. That's a nice butt, isn't it? I like the skin crack clicking thing, whistling idea. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
I wanted them to have something that was uniquely them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
That would basically make them spooky, Mm-hmm. And then of course I've got where did it go? Oh no. I saved it. Hold on. Yeah, I haven't built up a website for this yet, which is bad. I should. I'm terrible.
No, you're not.
Let's see. So I have my 2 races of more humanoid people that like look human. I should probably open that so I can share it, huh? Dude. I'm just like, why isn't there the option of the thing that I'm trying to find? It's because you're an idiot, Ali. Okay. So, yeah. So my race of like magical humanoids, because all of the races that are not humanoids have some sort of magic that they can do. Mm-hmm. I am operating slow-mo. I apologize, everybody. I'm trying. But thousands of years ago, this race of albinos appeared, and they are just naturally magical, and they're the ones that get the lobotomies that make them stupid and docile, and then they're just like slaves, basically. And they all kind of look like this, with like longer than normal limbs. They don't like really gain weight or anything. They have excellent metabolisms. And they freaked the regular people out. They're called Neelites. Good night, guy. And then the ones who have like more normal, not albino pigmentation are called Melanites. Right. Mm-hmm. But then I have other creatures that I did just sort of take from stuff that already exists. So how I was saying, I have fairies, but they're like water fairies. I found this by Brian Froud that I thought was a good representation of what they would look like. But they have like they have wings. Mm-hmm. So what they found was that since they could go so quickly and they have like superhuman strength, they just hook like ferries, like boats up to them, and they're the ones who like tow everything. So the humanoid races like to sort of make fun of it and call them fairies, but they don't like that.
Are they forced to do this, or this is just their job?
No, they're definitely they're smaller than humans.
Okay.
They are capitalists. So
okay.
They realized that they had an ability nothing else did. So they took advantage of it monetarily, but if they hear you call them a fairy, they'll like dump all your stuff.
That's great.
I threw that in there because it was funny. Fairy races, that would be slow. No, it's fast because they're fairies. They have superhuman strength. They can pull really fast. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. Renie has a race that used to be inanimate object spirits.
Oh yeah, that's what the Corrigans are. They used to be Haltesia. Haltesia are they're inanimate object spirits. It's like the Mushi and Mushishi essentially, or similar to that. It's like every tree has a Haltesia. I think that's a Finnish word. Guarding it. It's usually in the astral plane. It's not visible to people in the temporal plane unless the Haltesia or there are different types of spirits. Haltesia are like the lowest form of it. You have some you have the Dunskagia and other types of spirits and all kinds of shit. But anyways, but yeah, these certain type of I haven't figured out what type exactly, but probably like Earth type Haltesia or astral spirit decided they wanted to. They became enamored with the temporal plane and decided they wanted to live mortal lives. So they slowly became bound to the temporal world and became like a solid physical species, and that's the Corrigans. But that's also why the Corrigans are hyper magical. They almost like they're hard to see. They merge into the ground. They have like earth powers. They live in hills, and the entrances to their dwellings are hard to spot because they're like illusionists by nature.
That's really interesting. And it's cool that Alex already knows that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you remembered that. Thank you. I think I
Nice.
mentioned that forever ago. Yay!
Hockey, all the fairies you've been on haven't been pulled by fairies.
Mm.
Yes, they have wings. Yeah, puns. But these are very serious hyper-capitalist fairies. They don't like puns. Yeah, Robert, kind of like golems, probably, right? Would that sound accurate?
Golems, well,
Ooh.
golems as well, aren't golems animated, essentially like magically animated robots? It's not the same thing as Corrigans. Corrigans are sentient creatures,
Oh, yeah.
so it depends on like what version of golems you're talking about.
Oh, Alex wants to know how long your art contest is.
Oh, it's due on Halloween, so you got another whole month, more than a
There you
month.
go. A little more, yeah. Oh. So, then there's one, and I wanted to ask how you would put, so you know my, like, Frankenstein-y type character that was created out of, like, the dead, parts of magical creatures and, like, baby, goop and stuff?
Yep, I sure do.
Would you call that just like a corrupted being, or would that be its own race? What do you think?
I would. I think that would be its own race. It would be like this, almost like an android, like artificially created type of being on it that's on its own class. It's like a magically created android, right?
Yeah, kind of. I never thought of it like that, but yeah. Oh, buddy's saying goodnight. Good night.
No. Oh, Robert Romano said golems were animated statues. Right, that's not what the Corrigans are, so I don't think I was clear about what the Haltesia are. The Haltesia aren't the actual objects themselves, so they're not the stones or the earth or the trees or the leaves, or even like some streams might have a Haltesia, even though normally something larger like streams or rivers are guarded by Dunskagia, which are larger spirits. But they're not like the stone or the natural object itself. They're the spirit that embodies it. Yeah. So it's I don't know how to describe it. They're the spirit that guards it.
Do you have any races that are I'm sorry if you already answered this, but Do you have any races that look more animal than human, but can like talk and stuff?
Yeah. I don't have there's one that's sort of like the lizard folk race, and I don't really have them worked out yet. I think they're gonna be from like the volcanic regions because lizards, they're cold blooded and shit, but they would be on all fours and be very basically lizards. They wouldn't be like humanoid lizards, but they would be intelligent. The Etten, they're humanoid, but they're like yetis, and they're kind of hunched over. Actually, I don't know if you can see in the art of them. Obviously, the horns and stuff. They actually walk on their knuckles, so they walk like gorillas. They don't actually walk on 2 feet. So they're a little more animalistic than the other Cymar, and the Finn folk are just straight up aquatic, and they're not mermaids. Think about the mermaids from, what is it, Cabin in the Woods?
I haven't seen it.
Was it Cabin in the Woods? Or there was some movie where it was absolutely hilarious, where like somebody kept on wishing, it was a horror movie where somebody kept on wishing for a mermaid, and then the mermaid appeared, and it was this horrific, like half, like imagine the most horrific way a human could be merged with a fish, and it ate that person alive, and I thought that was so funny. So
I was gonna say Lady in the Water until you said that. I think that's a different
no,
thing.
no, they look super gross. And so my fin folk are gonna be really gross looking, weird. Like they're like fish people, but they're not humanoid at all. But they are intelligent, and it depends on the region. So I kind of come up with, depending on the body of water, they're like different sub races of finfolk, and some finfolk in like the inner sea, they tend to be helpful. If a sailor falls in the ocean, they tend to help them. But then in other areas, they would be hostile. Some of them are straight up cannibals, and they hunt travelers on the ocean in some regions, and some of them are just really apathetic, and shit like that.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Robert likes your spirits who animate the earth. He says that's badass.
Yeah.
Aside from the fairies, I'm assuming on mine, since you don't have those, are all of my racist species roughly the same size? No. And I will show you. So I have one species that are like tiny little but taller versions of these guys.
Oh.
So imagine like this, but like they walk upright like people.
Oh my god, they're so cute.
With the big eyes and everything. And they what they do is they live down on this little tiny island on my salt ocean, and they go to the island where that woman who's constantly crying, they go there and they collect these strange like salt minerals that have been created from her tears, and they sell them to make they sell them to on the mainland so that people can make things from them. And they're the only ones who like dare to go over there, and they go over there in these like little skiff boats. So like imagine like these dudes like sitting in a little boat, and they're like paddling with their weird little knuckled hands.
Oh my god, I love it. They're so
But
little and cute.
their eyes are more red. But they're straight up like, this is what I took inspiration from for those guys. I was
Oh my
like,
god,
with
look at
that.
that thing. Holy shit.
Yeah. And they just go in their little boats and their little paddling.
Yeah.
They save my wizard, and they like bring him back, not to life, but like they bring him back to health. There it is. Solo's saying it was Cabin in the Woods. Do the Etten make their own cheese? Oh my god.
What?
Like from their own bodies?
No. I mean, that I wasn't going to.
Like,
I would be like, what? That would be like, what would humans make their own cheese? Like, We are mammals.
Some women have tried to make cheese from there.
I didn't need to know that. I'm
How
not surprised.
how do they carry anything if they use their forelimbs for movement?
Oh, just like gorillas. They can like briefly walk on their hind legs or they'll carry with one arm, but that's partially why they live in their society is pretty primitive, even though they're relatively intelligent. They don't really have any technology besides from caveman technology.
Mm-hmm. Are they cannibals if they eat other races?
Oh, they eat their own race too, in addition to other races.
And I've only got one cannibal, and he's an auto cannibal. So he eats like,
Oh,
yeah, my wizard eats like pieces of himself. So like, I don't know if he,
okay.
even if like he senses that a hair has fallen from his head, he has to eat it
That's nuts.
because he's afraid to lose himself. So that's what he does. It's like his OCD.
Yeah.
but
Oh boy.
it's based in a magical logic because his very essence is so magical that he doesn't know what could happen if something got a hold of it that could manipulate his magical flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're in the Rotting Crown. If somebody has the link to the Wattpad, you can go check that out on my Wattpad. Down Goes Solo says super vicious. Mine aren't super vicious though. They're just like little fishing people. So they wear just like little fishing hats and they go in their little fishing boats on their little fishing island. Do they live down at Fraggle Rock? Maybe. Maybe that's part of where I got it. They're Fraggles. I actually don't know what to call them yet. I haven't named them. I have I have them being called different things, but I don't have an official name for them yet. Just imagine it saying, "How do you do, ma'am? How do you do, ma'am? Welcome. Welcome to our island."
Would you like some help, ma'am?
Profiting from her grief. That's brilliant. Yep, pretty much. That's what they do. Mises. Goatish. I think some person might be behind. Is hockey advocating for the eating of other races? Says Jay. Wow. John and Dean are both in their personal cheeses. Your own personal cheeses.
To each their own, my dudes.
Created from your breast.
Oh,
This is
God.
a test. I don't know.
So that doesn't even make sense. Humans don't make that much milk.
Some women make a lot of milk.
Okay, all right.
They could sell to the other races. They'd make a lot. Oh yeah, they could sell their breast milk. You want to talk about commerce in our worlds and
we should talk about commerce. There we go. That's
or would
another.
people find that boring? Let us know, chat. Because we could talk. I feel like Renie and I have created things that are just as viable as the real world because we have thought about all this stuff.
I did not think about selling your own breast milk, but thank you for that idea, chat. I don't think our chat would be bored if we started talking about fancy economics, so let's go for it.
Oh, good. Good. Bandito, welcome. If she smells like cheese, it's time to trade her in for a younger model. Truth. What's his favorite piece? Whose favorite piece? I don't know. We all dabble in autophagia from time to time. Don't yuck his yum. It's not that he likes doing it. He feels he must. It is a real condition, yes. There we go. John has it. That is where you can read bits of The Rotting Crown. Recently, somebody called it porn, but I beg to differ. It is not porn. It is not even erotica, nor is it even a romance. If someone is reading The Rotting Crown and using it as porn, they're probably on an FBI watch list or 12.
Probably. They only have, magical baby zombies and cannibalism and shit.
Yeah,
Cannibalizing lobotomized children.
Alex says that my little dudes would have ridiculously deep voices and pull out guitars.
Hello, madam. Would you like some help? I'm sorry, I can't. My voice is not that
Oh my
deep.
gosh. Oh, we could make an Excel chart for all our fantasy economics, pie charts. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know. I've sort of just I haven't gone that far. I've sort of just thought of, well, what does this settlement make their money off of, and that's enough.
Oh, I've thought a lot about it because I needed to figure out how the slave trade worked in order. And this is when it comes to world building, how you can actually kind of get lost in it. In order to explain why one little boy is bought and how that all works, I had to figure out how the slave trade works in my whole world so that this one scene that's like 2 pages long would make sense. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
yeah,
I can
it's all
see that.
figured out and I have it, but I'm not sure it'll ever manifest technically between the pages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I needed it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. I feel
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Makes
crazy.
sense. No, it makes sense.
If the Ettins sold their milk, there would be a lot of lactose intolerant races and fiendish.
I don't understand why people are so hung up on that and selling their milk. Like there are mammoths. I'm pretty sure the mammoth people actually they do. They sell, they don't have like big permanent settlements, but they make good money off of selling mammoth parts and mammoth milk and shit like that.
Oh wow.
That's like the
Yeah,
Etten, huh?
mammoth milk. Wonder what that
Yeah,
tastes like.
that would probably be like really good. I think big, giant, strong creatures. But the
Mammoth.
Etten, I would say the Etten would probably like they're kind of insular and they just keep to themselves in the mountains. But if they do trade, they would trade in like stonecraft because they have stone powers, or they would sometimes be hired out to create like stone bridges and stuff by humans and other races to build infrastructure. So
John makes a
there.
good point. At one point, free market capitalism was fantasy too. I've got trade in my book. Do you have trade?
Hmm.
It seems
Yeah,
to
that's
make
that's most of what I think about when it's economy. It's well, like I said, what each settlement, what their location would most benefit from, what type of economy. So, for example, Alstad, which is the town where we start out in, has they're kind of in the mountains. They're in chapter one. You saw that this wide shot of the town, and it's a large town, but it's just on this large outcropping and there's obviously no room for farmlands around it. So, what is their economy? Well, their economy is mostly smithing and ore mining. So, there's a lot of mines, like small scale mines and small settlements that bring ore to Alstad, and Alstad has a large concentration of smiths and craftsmen.
oh cool.
And they're positioned along the only caravan road through the Vizcales Mountains. So Arvos, in the smack dab in the middle of Arvos, is a huge mountain range, and it spans almost the entire continent, and it's really hard to pass. So that you have to go all the way around it. So travel like basically almost the entire width of the United States to get around it. Or you can take this road north and south, the one road that's called the Rhymeway, and Alstad is right along it. So it's like a rest stop. And so, that's part of their economy. And also, because they're in the mountains, the crafts like stone crafts, there's a lot of blacksmiths and stuff. They're pretty well known for having blacksmiths. This one human race called the Poroskans. They're like northern, kind of Russianish. They're known for their smithing crafts. So there's a lot of Poroskan smiths and stuff, and I kind of reference that. Like that doesn't really play into the story, but it's just something people reference. For example, in chapter two, when Casimir needs new weapons because his axes in chapter one got destroyed, well, he asked for a specific type of weapon that I made up, and they're called Poroskan cleavers. And it's a type of Poroskan weapon that is only made by Poroskan smiths, and you can find that type of smith with that skill in Alstad. So, little
Oh
world building
cool.
things like that. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Do we either of us have specific species that's been enslaved by all the others? Yes, my Neolites.
Yep, Dev.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder why we've done that.
I don't know.
Well, I know I started it like when I did finally start actually writing it in earnest, right? Because I've said it before. The Rotting Crown started as like 3 paragraphs on a live journal that were just me trying to write a fight scene for an anime. But
Right.
it, has gone bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's going to be, this book. Um, I started out writing a whole different book, or I thought it was going to be a different book that was just about one uh one man who was like a slaver, um being changed, like his mind is changed by one female slave who's gotten away. She managed to not get sorry, she managed to not get a lobotomy, and she like lived in the woods, and so she finds him. um he's run away because a curse was put on him, and like his arm is all fucked up. So she finds him and she saves him and changes his mind, and he's like the first one who whose mind is changed. That was where I started the sorry, my dog's trying to get out.
That's fine.
That was where I
Okay.
started the whole concept of, okay, maybe I'll have slaves, and I just sort of merged it.
Your dog must be a big boy or girl.
He's pretty big, but he's also like a fat sausage. So anyway, I decided I wanted that in the Rotting Crown, which was not called that at the time, but it's what it is. And then I needed that to make sense. I needed a reason to have slaves. I needed to know why, how all of the creatures and the races worked together, and it just so happens that it became they were like a nuisance. They started appearing so quickly that they became a nuisance, and that was where the origins of their slavery came from, and that's why they are thrown into that pit. Like they're expendable basically, because they're scared of them, but they're also expendable. And somebody, I think, asked if I have a drawing of the giant pit of blood, but I don't actually. But I do want to put, or I do want to make, or have made an art book to go along with it. And it would be cool if I could find somebody who would, draw this like huge pit of blood that's inside this castle. That would be cool. I just have no idea how I would do that. I employ artists. I am not an artist. Let's see what's going on. Are there any races that weren't put in? I haven't made up any artists or any races that I didn't include. What about you?
Well, I don't know. I might, like I said, I might not have the Jing actually show up. I don't know if I'll have the Finfolk show up because it's this whole thing where I built these races. At one point, I do have characters, or one character is on a boat, and I was like, well, it could show up here if I need, like, if it feels like the story needs an extra beat of conflict or something. Um, but as I work on it, I might just trim out all that fat because none of that stuff is really necessary. But I'm still like, I don't think it's a waste of time to build this stuff because it's going to be in the background. People are going to reference it, and it's just part of the world that makes it more real. Like even if they don't show up, it's referenced, right? So yeah, I'm pretty sure some of these races won't show up in the main story of Fiendish. I can always do spin-offs, you know.
Yeah. Do you have a sketchbook like that one you were showing that just has like all of these character not character like race designs and stuff?
Uh,
Like
well,
that
this
one
isn't.
that you showed one last time and it's all like it looks like a book that's all printed out already.
Oh no, you mean this? This is like my big fiendish sketchbook. It's like everything is for my
Your monster.
thumbnails. No, it's not full yet. I've just been. This is where I doodle everything. I might have. I know I have a sketch of an Eton somewhere. I have a lot of sketches of the dev because it actually took me a while to work out what the. Well, I had Yomi designed, but like the some of the other dev and like what the males look like took a while to solidify. Oh, here you go. So I do have a page of sketches of just like chicken scratch here. Focus. So okay, here you go.
Look, everybody behold what Rainey calls chicken scratch. I just want that like known.
It is chicken scratch. Okay, so these are the Eton. So you can see this is what their full bodies look like, kind of like that. So now
They
you
kind
can
of
get them.
remind me of like Ludo from Labyrinth, which you haven't seen, so never mind.
I haven't seen it, but cool. This is a character that might show up later. Maybe. I like him, but I don't know if he's necessary. But I do like him a lot. Here's a bunch of other. Okay, here are the sketches for the Berman. I was trying to. I almost went with like, should they be Cyclops at one point? I thought I'd make them these weird like Quasimodo creatures, but then I'm like, but then they would be bad at fighting, and I want them to be strong and good at fighting. So then I was like, should I go with this face? They kind of still look like this, but the brow ridge is less pronounced. They don't look as like completely stupid. This is what they look like now. So in chapter 2, you see a couple of them. Yeah, they have these weird like caveman faces. Yeah, there you go. Oh, here you go. This is what the Finfolk look like. This is only look at these things. There
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh.
Yeah, they're not pretty, are they? This is just the head. The rest of the body is also hideous, but
It's
there's
like it's like if Flounder became like a zombie.
yeah, they're like it's like a flounder but with some hair. I love it. I love making like freaky, weird looking races. It's because a lot of fantasy has like pretty shit, and I have pretty shit too. The Isfoliet are really pretty, but I want to have like ugly, horrific shit too. I think that's it. Do I have anything else? I have demon sketches. That's mostly it. It's drawings of the dev. Oh, here's a male dev, but they're also boobs. Let me cover it. There you go. So this is what the male dev look like. You see?
Mm.
Yeah.
You covered two boobs but left one boob.
There.
It's okay, I
Whatever.
don't mind.
It's drawing YouTube.
I
Yeah.
don't fuck off YouTube.
I know they're so fucking sensitive about this shit.
I don't think any I don't think the algorithm would notice.
Yeah,
Solo has a good question. Have we already talked about like fantasy weaponry? We could do that next time if we haven't already.
oh sure, yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Solo, next time we'll talk weaponry because we both have our own weapons that we have created. And we'll talk about that next time. Hockey just sent me something though that he drew just now. I guess I provided some inspiration. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm the only one on camera. I can entertain the chat.
I didn't mean to leave you up there. I'm sorry. I don't like it when people do that to me.
Oh, it's fine. It's
I'm
fine.
huge. There we go. Hockey Drew.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that adorable?
So cute. Yeah. I like how is that the hat? The hat looks kind of merged into its head, but
I think it's a hat. Yeah.
That's funny too. I love it.
My drawing was timely. No, it's still awesome, Hockey. Thank you. It's adorable. I like how he looks like he's disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he's seen shit. He's seen some shit.
Why are you both silent on our horse-based slavery? Rainy,
I don't
can
have
you
horses.
please just watch Labyrinth so Allie will stop crying about it? I'm not crying. I'm not
Okay, I'll
crying.
watch Labyrinth. I'll go watch the movie about David Bowie's package. And
It's not about his package. It's about much more than that, Rainy. It's
okay, cool.
it's
You
about
say
the
if you say
it's
so.
about the world. It teaches every lesson you could possibly need in life in that movie.
Oh, all right
Okay,
then.
and it's not just about David Bowie. You only really see it like up close once. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
Anyway, I
Cool.
bet Alex brings up something that I almost forgot. I bet
Hmm.
horses in Allie's world are highly intelligent, self-aware beings, and yet everyone enslaves them. Incorrect. I only have one highly intelligent, self-aware horse, and he can turn into a human. So there.
Wow.
Mwah, mwah.
Wow.
Use reference for your sketches, Rainy.
Not really. No. It depends. Some I was sketching some prehistoric animals in another page, so yeah, I use reference for that because I had to be accurate to something in the real world. But no,
Okay.
otherwise, not really.
The fishing pole is a nice touch, Hockey. Thank you.
It's so
Oh, Hockey
cute.
fixed the hat. I guess I'm showing the wrong one, but I can't open it now because
I
it's
think it was
making noise.
fun. I
Okay.
like how the hat is just merging into its head, JoJo style. It's
It's
great.
not actually. I'm just an idiot, and I thought he sent me the same picture twice.
No.
Here, I'll show them the fixed one, Hockey. There we go.
Ah, okay. It's so
Little
cute.
fishing hat. See,
Hmm.
I was picturing more of like those, like, I don't know, like Chinese fishing hats or whatever that they will like wear when they're picking rice or something. I don't know. Is that racist? I don't
No, that's just a thing. So racist. Oh my god.
know. Give me permission to say Chinese fishing hat, Rainy. I need it.
Well, they're like farmer hats, but
Okay.
they're it's a thing. I didn't cosplay, but one Halloween I was really lazy, so me and another Taiwanese friend we just wore like the shittiest farmers clothes, like jeans that are rolled up and flip flops and like white shirts and those Chinese farmer hats, and we were dressed up as Chinese farmers that Halloween.
That's actually really funny.
It was great.
Because probably today some weirdo would be like, "You can't dress like that."
Right, even though I'm Asian.
You'd be like, "Well, shut up. I'm gonna do what I want."
Yeah, pretty
Anyway,
much.
so racist. I know.
They go,
Sorry.
yeah,
Where's his
they go,
jar of tears?
shut up.
He's on the way to get his jar of tears. Okay. Ronan's disavow. Everybody disavow.
It was so funny.
Rainey is racist against herself. Confirmed. She's got that internalized racism, right?
Ugh, so internalized.
Someone's clipping how you said that.
Oh god.
Anyway, uh I don't know if I can keep going. I need to sleep,
We've been
and
going for a while. It's been an hour and a half, so I
it
think we're
has been
good.
an hour and a half. We normally do 2 hours, but Rainy's busy and I'm sick, and
Yeah.
Rainy's exhausted and busy, and I'm exhausted and sick.
Yeah.
So I think we'll cut it off this time. Next time we'll do weaponry, I think. That
I
sounds
guess
fun.
so. Sure, yeah.
Maybe
I feel
even
like
like weapons and armor.
sure. I don't I feel like I need to think more about this. I actually don't have anything to say about armor. The weaponry isn't super special, but I don't know.
Well, then we can always talk about ones we like too.
Yeah, I made up some. I'm like I don't. Someone asked about enchanted weapons and stuff. That can happen, but it's kind of rare. I did make up a couple of weapons though, and you see some of them in chapter 2. So yeah, we can talk about that.
After this, Rainy will stare into space for 8 hours of rest.
What? I have a character in Pathfinder that does that because he doesn't technically need to sleep, so he just like sits around for 8 hours.
Ah, sweet. This is one of Solo's favorite shows. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Hopefully, next week
awesome!
I'll be more on my game. super apologize. Mo Biggs is saying that I'm choking. I apologize.
No. Hope you feel better. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Feel better.
Fantasy World Hobbies, Leisure, and Recreation. We can talk
That would be a
that.
very, very long stream.
Like games and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm so sorry, everybody. I have failed as a world builder. I haven't built in-world mini games for my comic yet, but I'm gonna work on it now.
Oh, 2 weeks to next week. So it will not be the 30th. It would be the 7th of September is our next show because this is every other week.
October.
Yeah, the 7th of October.
Okay.
That would be the next one.
Okay.
So, Hockey sent me another drawing. Okay, Hockey. I'll show Hockey's new drawing.
Oh my god, that's great. Oh, I love it. The fish, the face on the fish. The fish is like holy shit.
I don't even know what to say about this.
He's inspired. He did put an Asian rice hat on the lemur guy. So.
Well, is that Kathy Griffin?
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Holding Trump's head.
Yeah, no, Kathy Griffin is way uglier than this.
Yeah, this dude's cute. Look at him.
Yeah.
I think that's Hockey as one of these creatures pulling my head off. Like that's what's
cute.
happening in this.
Yeah.
Fish heads, eat them up, yum.
That was good.
Anyway, yeah. So come back on the 7th. What are you up to this week, Renie?
I am. Oh god, I have streams planned for like every day because I'm gonna take a break after this week of streaming. But yeah, I'm gonna be around, guys. Tomorrow I'm on Bancroft at 8 EST. Then I should be on Shane's channel at 9. And I've got a stream Sunday with Jimmy Reyes. Holy hell, I have no, not Sunday, Tuesday. I'm gonna be on CG Kings on Monday, Tuesday. Jimmy Reyes. I have my regular Wednesday show at 8 p.m. EST. And then I'm just all over the place. Yeah, so that's most of it for next week. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be on. Where am I gonna? I'm gonna be on Arvid's channel on the 30th. Is that next week? I think so. So yeah, tomorrow. Check my Twitter. I'll be on Bancroft and then Shane, and then yeah, I'll probably hang out with PTP stream on Sunday. Oh no, I'm gonna try to do a members stream this weekend. So yeah, members, you guys can look out for that. Thank you.
And I'll be doing hopefully all my regular shows except for tomorrow's. So that will be pretty awesome. And and the Ethot Alley pool stream is going to happen. I have giveaways and all sorts of fun surprises. It just has to happen when it's not raining and it's not Allie sick. So it's going to happen. And I sent out the first egg beater emails. Check your junk folders, everyone. When you're signed up for egg beater emails, that means that you get what do you call it? A trading card that Hockey drew. It's one of the Recipe for Death trading cards, and it is scrambled brains. Hockey's doing all of the trading cards. Thank you very much, Solo. And we will play our intro as an outro right now. And then good night to you all.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Buenas noches.